From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fbx Evening News.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Documents filed yesterday by the Alaskan Innocence Project contain new scientific evidence pointing towards the innocence of the Fairbanks Four.
News Center 11's Nikki Carvajal takes a look at how the document addresses the eyewitness testimony that was crucial to convicting the men.
The murder of 15-year-old John Hartman has stayed in the news for the past 15 years due to the insistence of many that George Freese, Marvin Roberts, Kevin Pease, and Eugene Vent are innocent. The case has been plagued since the beginning by unreliable eyewitnesses, juror misconduct, and questions regarding the evidence presented at trial. The documents filed by the Alaskan Innocence Project argue that it's, quote, contrary to the abilities of the human mind for key eyewitness Arlo Olsen to have seen the men that night.
That was totally preposterous. I mean, we had an eyewitness, a witness that testified that there's no way he could have seen what he saw. He said he's looking at a football field from one end to the other, and you couldn't possibly identify anybody. But he did. Arlo Olsen did. And that's what convicted him.
Lawyers allege that, quote, he was persuaded by police to testify against the four defendants and to identify the car he saw as a blue four-door car. Olsen recanted and then stuck to his original story several times, telling UAF journalism professor Brian O'Donohue that he had almost no recollection of the evening, could not identify anyone involved, and that police told him that recanting in court would result in a perjury prosecution and jail.
I always knew Marvin was innocent, and the problem is, right now, what do you do about it? You know, what can be done? Nothing. The best part of his life is totally behind him, and you know, it was behind bars the whole time, and I don't know what he can do now. Can't sue, can't do anything.
The physical evidence presented at trial is also addressed in the 131-page post-relief conviction filing. Tomorrow, the News Center will take a closer look at the evidence presented at trial and what defense attorneys are saying about it now. Nikki Carvajal, News Center 11.
A man from Eielson Air Force Base pled guilty today to 2 counts of sexual assault. Sean Swamy was sentenced to 7.5 years in prison after pleading guilty to raping women on 2 separate occasions. According to UAF police, one of the assaults took place during the late evening hours of November 8, 2012. The alleged victim told police she was riding in a vehicle with Swamy when he drove to the parking lot of the Tanana Valley Fairgrounds. The woman told police she was repeatedly assaulted by Swamy as she pleaded with him to stop.
A man from Huslia reached a deal with prosecutors and pled guilty to 1 count of sexual abuse of a minor. Byron Peters was sentenced to 5 years in prison today in Fairbanks Superior Court after being indicted earlier this summer. The victim was under the age of 18. The assault occurred in Huslia.
The carnival company that has provided the attractions at the Tanana Valley State Fair since 1967 is suing the organization. Golden Wheel Amusement, also known as the Legacy Group, filed a lawsuit against the fair in early August, citing breach of contract. The suit comes after fair management and employees arranged for other attractions to be at the 2013 fair, which the company claims violated the terms of their agreement. The owners of the company state that they do hope to be able to continue their relationship with the fair and hope to settle the dispute outside of court in negotiations set to happen in the next week. However, if an agreement is not made, they are prepared to move forward with the lawsuit and possibly not return in the coming year.
We have a very strong connection with Fairbanks, and we are hopeful that we can work this out. We donated the 4-H pavilion on the grounds. My husband proposed marriage to me on the fairgrounds. I've celebrated every birthday for the past 20 years there, and we look forward to a long future celebrating with Fairbanks. We definitely want to work things out in a peaceful and friendly way.
Now, this is not the first issue the Tanana Valley State Fair has had in recent months. On September 15th, one of the office buildings at the fairgrounds was broken into during the night. Alaska State Troopers are still investigating the case, but according to Trooper spokeswoman Megan Peters, it is unclear what, if anything, was stolen, although the office was confirmed to have been vandalized at the time of the incident.
All right, when we come back, Alaskan health care is more expensive than other states.
And we have more on the candidates running in this year's municipal election. Those stories are next. Stay with us.
And welcome back to the Fbx Evening News. A Fairbanks man who holds a federal firearms license has been charged with weapons violations. 55-year-old Guy Chris Menino was arrested last week at an airport in Nashville, Tennessee. A federal grand jury indicted Menino on 6 counts of illegal sale and ownership of automatic firearms and silencers between November 2011 and February 2013. One count charges him with making a false statement on a form regarding the date a 9mm machine gun was manufactured. Menino drew the attention of state law enforcement in February after an explosion of an ordnance at a private firing range that broke windows on Chena Ridge west of Fairbanks. He was charged with felony criminal mischief, but a grand jury refused to indict and prosecution ended.
It should be no surprise that Alaskans seeking health insurance may pay higher premiums than other people in the country. The U.S. Health and Human Services Department says under the Affordable Care Act, the average premium for individuals will cost $474. Of the 48 states analyzed, only Wyoming is higher in that category at $516. Under the ACA, commonly known as Obamacare, nearly everyone is required to have health insurance or face a tax penalty. Most people with an insurance plan meet the federal requirements. However, about 127,000 people in Alaska are uninsured. A spokesperson for the United Way says starting October 1st, navigators can explain insurance options that could save customers money.
We'll connect people who may be eligible for Medicaid. We'll connect them with the Medicaid public assistance folks. If people need information about Medicare or disability, we'll be able to give them that information. So it's not just for the exchange, but if we find that they're eligible for other resources, we can make those connections too.
The United Way of Anchorage says navigators can be found by calling the Alaska Statewide Information and Referral System at 211.
The municipal election is set for October 1st with candidates vying for city and borough seats. News Center 11's Monty Bowen looks at one of the borough assembly races.
The two people running to serve a 3-year term on Borough Assembly Seat C are Janice Golub and Larry Morris.
I'm running because I think it's a very pivotal moment now in the borough's history. We're looking at a time where we're going to bring in natural gas, hopefully, into Fairbanks. And if we can do that, that'll bring down the cost of living for everyone.
A little over 3 years ago, I became a member of the Trails Advisory Commission, and I'm now on my 2nd term on the Assembly Citizens Budget Review Commission. During that time, I've spent a lot of evenings at Borough Assembly meetings, and I think it's just a natural next step to wish to become part of the Assembly.
The two candidates have varying degrees of experience.
I've lived here in the borough for 11 years now. Really happy to be here. I love being in Fairbanks. And I've worked with the Animal Control Commission for the last 4 years. I've been a volunteer there since 2002, and by trade I'm an Army officer.
My belief is that small government is an efficient government, and that I hope that I can bring a little bit of foresight to the budget process.
And if elected, what would their top priority be?
Big priority, of course, is energy. Energy, energy, energy. That's the only thing that we really have to worry about right now. If we're looking at what the borough has done so far as a distribution plan, they want to extend out a gas pipeline system over into North Pole and up into Chena Ridge, and that's ideal because we can get those high density areas with larger subdivisions and more residents and get them taken care of first. If you look at South Central, if you look at Mat-Su, if you look at Anchorage, they're all on natural gas and they're thriving.
Work on the budget. After the election, it gets pretty close to time to work on the next year's budget. So I think that'll probably be the biggest thing I will be working on.
Again, the municipal election is set for October 1st. Monty Bowen, News Center 11.
As citizens begin to enter the golden years, they become more dependent on others for care. Unfortunately, this may result in negative reaction and in turn injury or worse to an elder resident. Tomorrow from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. at the Nolween Library, the Alaska Department of Health and Social Services will present a resource fair aimed at educating the community on what they can do to ensure seniors are treated properly. The fair will feature presentations on Alzheimer's, protective services, and elder fraud. The bottom line is the state of Alaska is doing everything it can to protect senior citizens.
Every state has what we refer to as adult protective services. So there's a federal authority, and it's through the Older Americans Act. And so we need to have that kind of structure in Alaska. So when we get a report of harm, we'll do an investigation, but we work very closely with the police department. We have a lot of key partners within the state system, our nonprofit world. So we come together, so it's not just one entity.
Hey,
Joe. Joe?
What's going on, man?
Doing well. Well, tonight, we have a lot to talk about.
Okay.
In high school sports, we've got volleyball, football, and the state of girls hockey in Alaska.
You know, but I'm hearing a lot of you guys, you and Mike, talking back and forth in the newsroom about this football stuff going on. Are you going to tell people where you're at there?
Yes, we were. Yeah, it was a big game last night. We were actually watching the 49ers game.
Oh, okay.
Me and Mike are fans, so we'll still have that. So hopefully they can pull out this division win. Also, roller derby for a good cause coming up soon, so stick around for sports. It's coming up next. Hello, Interior Alaska. Joe Cook here in the sports seat for you. This evening, bring you some Thursday sports action. It was senior night for the Rams football team last night at Kiwanis Field. Monroe recognized their seniors, Alex Callahan, Tyler Wells, Scooter Bynum, Michael Novell, and Dylan Gavora. They faced the Voznesenka Cougars, and it was all about the seniors. In the first quarter, Alex Callahan was scoring a 16-yard run after a 40-yard catch. It's 7-0 Monroe. Next possession, Wells goes to Bynum on a quick screen. Bynum completely reverses field and gets a big downfield block from Wells. 84 yards later, touchdowns 14-0 Rams. The 5 Rams seniors each scored a touchdown in the Rams' first 5 possessions. Wells scored a rushing touchdown. Gavora scored a rushing touchdown as well. Novell caught a TD pass, and Bynum had 2 pick sixes. The last one, Wells lateraled it to him after Wells picked it off. That was an amazing play. Monroe's defense was slowed down. The Cougar running game by quarterback Graham Kalugan and running back Dennis Mardashev. Monroe gets a big shutout on senior night. 54-0 your final. Monroe improves to 4-1 in the Greatland Conference on a short week.
Every guy out here comes out and works hard every single day, just like, the whole team does. So the fact that we can get so many people touchdowns is great.
If we get a first or second seed, that'd mean the world for us to play a playoff game here at home, have the home field crowd on our side. That'd be great.
It's a great senior class, and I like to see them go out like that, their senior night, to come out with that kind of little victory between themselves.
Now let's take a look at the rest of the football schedule. North Pole, number 4 North Pole, hosts West Valley at 7 p.m. tomorrow in a non-conference game. A big Greatland Conference game between the number 5 Nikiski Bulldogs and Allison Ravens at Buck Nystrom Field on Saturday starts at 1 p.m. Both teams are 4-0 in the conference. Playoff seeding at stake. Also on Saturday, Lathrop travels to Homer for a 3 p.m. kickoff. Now, news in girls high school hockey. According to the Anchorage Daily News, the Scotty Gomez Hockey Association recently agreed to a 3-year deal to run girls hockey in the Anchorage School District as an outsourced activity. The ASD eliminated girls hockey last spring because of lack of players, but will help in a limited capacity this year. However, girls hockey in Fairbanks is growing with the Icebreakers Club program that has over 100 players from ages 6 to 18. Last year, the Arctic Bears of Fairbanks went undefeated and won the first Alaska High School Invitational Tournament, but the girls' high school hockey season depends on how things work out in Anchorage. There will be a meeting in Anchorage tonight to address some issues. Lynn Thompson, president of the Alaska Girls and Women's Hockey in Fairbanks, revealed the obstacles.
Well, right now we don't know length of season, when the season will start. We're not even sure if Anchorage will let Fairbanks or out of Anchorage School District teams participate. Until we get an idea of what kind of season they're looking at, it's hard for us to plan on how we're going to move forward. Right now we're behind. Usually high school is all set in place. People have their schedules already made, and right now we have none of that. We're optimistic that there's going to be a season this year. We're kind of waiting to see what comes out of the Anchorage School District, and then if we can model a program that can fit into what they bring forward.
Last night, the Hutchinson Hawks faced themselves in a sense. They played the Galena Hawks. Hutchinson's Hawks were a bit more lethal, sweeping Galena 25-6, 25-8, 25-6. Hutchinson rested 3 varsity starters as backups, and JV players got some playing time. Junior Michaela Henrit led the way, going 7 for 7, had 3 solo blocks. Junior Caroline Everts had 8 aces. Hutchinson is 5-1 overall and 3-1 in the Aurora Conference. Their only loss has been to the undefeated Rams. Monroe plays Delta tonight, and Hutch will host Valdez on Friday night. And the Alaska Roller Girls will compete in the 2nd annual Breast Bout ever tomorrow night. 56 skaters from across the state have registered for the fundraising event, and they donate their own money to play. The event raises money for the Breast Cancer Detection Center in Fairbanks, but more importantly, it raises awareness about the disease. The teams will be a lot different than normal, and skaters won't know which teams they'll be on until tomorrow night. Doors open at 6 and wheels roll at 7 at the Carlson Center. The founder of the Fairbanks Roller Girls says, expect a lot of skating and fun activities for the audience.
We're doing it 5-on-5 style, where the skaters, just 5 girls get up and go and skate from 2 different teams. We're doing it as a doubleheader, so we'll have a lot more skating action going on. The bra pong is like a game that you'd play at the fair, similar except not really. And you have ping pong balls that you're trying to throw and get into a cup, and if you get it into a cup, then you win a prize. So you can purchase the balls, $1 a piece or whatever they are. So.
Sounds fun, and that'll do it for sports tonight. Thanks for rocking with me for a little while. Stay cool, Alaska. Mike Schultz has your full weather forecast coming up next, and we'll catch you next time.
Hey everyone, welcome back into the Fairbanks Evening News. Mike Schultz with you once again, taking a look at the weather. We had cloudy skies today, a few showers here and there, more rain off to the west of us right now, but it's all moving out of the picture. It looks like a pretty good weekend setting up. We'll talk more about that in just a little bit. Here's our photograph tonight. This one's sent in by Trevor Gridley. As you can see, just a beautiful display of all different types of colors of leaves. He was able to capture that photograph, and by all means, if you have a photograph you want to share with us, send it to me at MikeSchultz@KTVF11.com. What's going on at the airport right now? Well, the rain has stopped. It's 48 degrees, and there's our high for the day. The low last night, 33. Record high, 69, 1934, and 11 degrees in 1909. Sunrise and sunset, about 11 hours and 49 minutes of daylight, a loss of 6 minutes from yesterday. Here's our first satellite pictures. You can see here a little bit of moisture moving rapidly across the interior, bringing the showers this afternoon. This next storm is going to remain mainly to the south of the Alaska Range, so we're not expecting a whole lot. Our latest radar in the Fairbanks area is showing the showers just to the north and the west of the Fairbanks area, moving out of the picture. So after this little band moves through, we're looking at just mainly cloudy skies the rest of the night. Now elsewhere across the state, it looks like this. Showers over southeast Alaska, also showers along the Aleutian chain. Otherwise, cloudy skies across the entire state. 30 degrees at Barrow, 39 at Nome, and Fort Yukon, 36. Lower 48 weather tonight. Well, the rain has returned over the Pacific Northwest, all because the jet stream is bringing that moisture in from the northwest. Otherwise, showers and thunderstorms around the Minneapolis area. Also thunderstorms off the eastern seaboard. On the satellite and radar, you can see all this energy moving across the western and northwestern part of the country. That's going to continue to bring quite a bit of weather there. The jet stream, once again, mainly zonal, moving from the west to east, helping to bring that storminess across the Pacific Northwest. Otherwise, looks like nice weather for the rest of the country into the weekend. Okay, that's out of the way. Let's talk about our weather. First of all, in the northern sections, flurry is expected at Barrow, mostly cloudy skies in Nome, and cloudy skies for Fort Yukon. Here in the interior, mostly cloudy skies for Fairbanks, Delta Junction, and Healy, so not too much going on tomorrow. Over southeast Alaska, rain changes to showers in Juneau, and then more rain developing for Ketchikan, so pretty wet forecast there. Over to the southwest, rain and fog at Cold Bay, a chance of rain for Kodiak, and kind of rainy and windy at Bethel, maybe winds up to 50 miles an hour there. And over south central regions, it looks like cloudy skies at Anchorage, showers for Homer, and more rain expected in the Valdez area. Okay, time once again for our kids' weather. All this week we've been talking with the kids from Tuckasuk Brown Elementary School. Tonight, let's hear from the teacher with an interesting weather fact.
Hello, I'm Mrs. Bremer, and this is my 3rd grade class here at Tuckasuk Brown Elementary School. And we have a weather fact to share with you. Class, even though they say lightning doesn't strike the same place twice, did you know that the Empire State Building in New York City is hit more than 500 times a year?
No. Why, Miss Bremer?
And then we're going to take a little break next week. we'll have weather facts for you, but in 2 weeks, we'll be back with the kids from Weller Elementary School. All right, here's your forecast for the remainder of the night. 38 degrees, areas of light rain slowly ending, and tomorrow's forecast looking at a little warmer with continued cloudy skies, 54 degrees. We love those kids, that's sure. And our 5-day outlook, as you can see, we're looking at 46 degrees on Saturday, showers expected on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, and they could be snow showers once again, as cooler air is expected to move back into the picture, dropping down below the 40-degree mark. Overnight lows also cooling down. We'll be looking at temperatures dropping down to the 20s. Upper 20s and mid-20s once again. It's a little bit of a reprieve there,
that's
but
that's no bueno.
not
There's
too
those
good.
20s that I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, you just wanted to get them back in here to talk about
No.
it.
20s. Oh.
Yeah. All right.
28's no big deal.
Thanks, Mike. That'll wrap this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. We are glad you could join us.
NBC Nightly News is coming up next with Brian Williams.
And if you see news happen or have a story idea, you can call our newsroom at 458-1830.
And that will do it from all of us here at the News Center. We'll hope to see you back here at 11 o'clock. Until then, have a good evening.